Alright guys, welcome back to another Pyro Prison video. This time we are on Midtown, which I would say is one of the better Human Torch maps, and that's for a few reasons. You've got big open streets to poke at people and make prisons, and it usually forces enemies into corners and side rooms where you can then shotgun them down with your basic attacks. Remember, this video is meant to try and simplify the concept of the Pyro Prisons and get some basic shapes in your mind that you can use while you're deep in battle. It's nothing crazy or complicated, it's simple stuff. This map sort of works both ways. We don't really have to do an offense and a defensive side, but let's begin and you'll see what I mean. Let's start off on defense. I'm basically going to show you the formations that I use as I'm defending and as I'm backing up, okay? So first thing, while you're waiting for the door to open, just a simple one. Remember, we're trying to delay their time as much as we can, right? So you can just make a simple box right outside the front door, and either they walk into it or they don't, all right? Like, that's all there is to it. So like, you can make a box, either they step out into danger, or they're not. I usually don't put it right in front of the door. Let them step out here where they can take damage, whatever. You can build some ultimate. Or they just sit in the spawn. So either way, it wastes their time. Simple, right? And you can do it from safety before the door even opens. You can press E and then just hide, right? We usually let them take this corner, right? You don't want to be hovering here for too long. You could make another box here if you wanted, right? Just something simple like this, where it's all connected. Easy, right? Okay. That's fine. But let's just say that you guys get pushed back and now you're, of course, defending here. This map's quite easy on the street part because it's kind of obvious in a lot of ways. Like here, it turns into like a box, right? You can make a big box here. So here you just want to reach for the back side, right? We're reaching for the back down the street and we're just doing a big box like here. That's an easy, obvious one, right? So then as they push down through here and you get forced back, the angle changes again slightly, but again, it's just a big box, right? So we're just going to reach for this along this side right here. Basically forces them, if you're in the street, you're going to get off the street. So we're going to force them into the sides, up top, into here, into here. That's what we want. We want to force them into the tight spaces, right? So as they take this corner, then I'm just reaching for these back walls, and you just make something big like this. Okay? That's easy, pretty obvious. Right? Now, as we move back even further, it's kind of like you're going to start using this thing a little bit if you can. They're going to come at you from up top here and down here, but that's fine. You can try and use this cover and just make a quick box here. So again, you just kind of want to take off this whole angle. So this street's pretty obvious, right? It's mostly just as the angle shifts slightly, as these shapes, you just turn them into big boxes again, right? So you're backing up as you guys are defending. You guys are defending, and let's say the payload's here now. It's starting to push through this area. Your cover's kind of gone. If you're sitting here trying to make things and the payload's already here, your cover's kind of gone. So let's just assume that they've kind of taken this corner from your team. Now you can use these pillars as cover, right? And this one's pretty obvious. As the payload moves through here, you can make a big square that goes like basically around the whole ambulance area, right? But let's say you're doing it from here. It's simple where I just kind of aim in front of this thing here, right? Just aim on the street so that you're going to have basically one here, one connecting over here somewhere. You can use this mailbox, I guess, as a marker. But it's just like one here, here, and over here. And this covers a wide part of the area. It's simple to do. You're pretty safe doing it. The only risky shot is right here pretty much. And it goes around the entire ambulance and it all connects. Now, as you guys get pushed back even further, I mean, you could do this whole like bus thing if you want. I would say, I mean, it's a little trickier. You're putting yourself out there a little bit more to do it. One that maybe is more realistic is if you're coming from this area at all. You know, let's say the payload's here or even, you know, almost at the capture point and your team's fighting. You know, sometimes I've turned this corner and just throw one right here and then one over here, and then these other two are safe, right? So as long as you turn this corner, that's the risky one. You do something like this, and it makes a nice big square right where the payload's being contested at the capture point. So that one, the only risky shot is this first shot, basically. You quickly do these two, and then you back up to here, and you know, you're kind of with your team in the cubby, and you're safe. Remember, a lot of people don't want to fight Human Torch in close quarters like this either, because now his basic attack is so good, you can just pummel somebody. So, yeah, it basically kind of works to your advantage either way. If they want to come through this door, I mean, they're going to get smoked. Now, of course, if you're defending from this side, and you know the payload's right here near the checkpoint, it's pretty obvious. You're just trying to make a big square. You can also, like, if you can get around this corner safely, you could kind of do the same box that we just did, except from the other way. So yeah, you're just trying to go behind this pillar. So something like this, like that, like this, and like that. And it makes a nice big square around the pillars and on the payload. So a win-win for you. That's basically the first point. It's pretty simple here, but just think of the positioning, simple spots, make nice squares. It's easy, right? Okay, so let's assume they've taken the first capture point. I mean, it's pretty obvious what you're going to do here. Just you're trying to make a big square that can cover the whole hallway. You don't want anything to get in the way, but I mean, it's a pretty simple one. The risky shots are at the back, so you try and do those first, and then just stretch them to the wall here beside you, and nice big square. It's a beautiful spot because you see people quite often. Then they get pushed into the doorways here, and they're just really easy for you to basic attack, or they get hit with your right clicks a lot easier. You can make some big bombs in this hallway, so that's pretty easy. As you get pushed back, you of course can then use this angle to you know, make a box that's not quite as big, but it still works, right? So now you're covering this area. It's all pretty obvious for a lot of these shapes. There's no altitude changes, at least yet, where you have to worry about, will my right click work or not? But yeah, so as they get around this corner, what I've been doing, kind of, because it's kind of risky to get like way over here and shoot a right click. You know, you're really exposing yourself that way. But there's been some times where I just like literally put one over here like that, and then I just stretch out two other ones on the right hand side and just make a triangle instead. So not a square, but almost as good as a square in this spot. It all kind of depends. Sometimes you don't even get to fight here because they push through so quick. Here, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Big rectangle, right? So this one's easy and obvious. As this thing kind of blows up and goes all over the place, the battlefield's gonna change a little bit, but it's pretty obvious. You just want to make a big square here, right? So that's obvious. Same thing with here, where the angle, this stuff changes a little bit, but you're, even if you just make a big triangle here and just cover like this part, there's nothing wrong with that at all. People think you just have to make a square or nothing, but it's like, you don't. You like, look at a triangle here. Very effective, very easy. Just think, I'm stretching towards this wall. I need to make sure I don't stretch too far, or else these will block it. I want to stretch out this way, but not too far. Otherwise, I can't put the anchor point over here because this will block it, right? So make sure this right clicks far enough up where it can see over here and it can see over here, and you're good to go. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. And then this section gets a little weird. Obviously, gets a little claustrophobic. You can stretch one out over here and just kind of like put something like this and just make a triangle. It all depends how much time you have, but I'm usually not trying to make too many shapes right in this section. I just make something simple, even just a line. I'm more just trying to basic attack, because now they're it's kind of look close quarters. I can shotgun them down a bit. Okay. Now the payload, I'm just going to stop it here. This part, we have our first like altitude change basically. And this one's kind of easy to remember once you know it. So if you put a right click anywhere past like this line, if I put one here and I put one here, I can't press my E. It doesn't work. This altitude change is too high. Okay? So won't work at all. But if it's this line basically is the cutoff. So if I put one here and I put one here, now I can press E and make a box. So you got to remember this part of the ramp here is your marker. So if you're over here defending and they're starting to push through or they're coming down the ramp or whatever, if you can remember that as long as it's in front of this like little marker, you're good. So if I put one here and I put one here and I put one here and I put one here, now it works and it connects and you can make a box. If these were up even to this point right here, it would not work. So remember that. Try and use this as your basically your cutoff point. Okay, so that's an obvious one. As they come down the ramp, you can kind of move to the side. You get used to where this is. It's basically underneath the crack here. So you're gonna do this, right? As you come around the corner, see, the first one's the hard one. This is the hard shot, right? So you can do that, this, and now I'm safe out of their vision as I finish the box. So they come around with that one. There's actually a lot of options here, really, but this stuff gets in the way of making a big box in this area. But you can still like try and make it just a simple triangle, and it works pretty well. So like if I put one here, basically you want to make sure that you have vision of it. So you can put one here as kind of your anchor point, and then it's like this and this, and it makes a decent triangle to kind of cover that corner. It's not a box again. They can move into the room, they can move off to the side, but that's fine. As long as you're displacing their main route, you're getting value out of it. You don't have to overthink it, right? Now, this barrier is obviously great for, you know, providing you with cover while you're fighting. So as the payload starts to move and like the fight gets into this kind of last room right in front of the checkpoint, it's kind of easy to pull off. You just want to, like I put one like here basically, so it can go up to here, and then all the way across the room. So these two are easy, where you're basically putting them like this, and then one over there and one here, and it just kind of covers that whole big area of the capture point. If this one I kind of put it a little short, but if you can just squeeze it up against the wall as much as you can, and you just make sure that whatever one you put over here is in vision, because if you put it too far over here, now if you put one up against the wall, it's not going to connect, right? So if you put it up against the wall and you just make sure this one's within view, and then that, it works out perfectly. So this spot, it's a lot of fun to defend with Human Torch, because you can make nice big squares in a kind of a claustrophobic room, and your basic attack now absolutely destroys people. So it's a win-win. Okay, now we hit some altitude here again. This is very steep. It doesn't work for a lot, but you can put basically flame fields here, and it won't work. Even just being on this lip slightly, it does not work. But if you put them on the flat ground and you put one up against the door, now it does work. Okay, so if you got to think from a defending standpoint, you know, as they come through the room here, it has to be on this flat part, and then it can be near the door. So you can just go like this, and it works. Not a very big box, but I mean, it's kind of an awkward spot anyway, and you need to be wary of the opponents coming out of the spawn to your right. You can't make a big one that goes from the top of the ramp to the bottom. It does not let you connect them, unfortunately, but that's how it goes. Now here is the same thing. There's an altitude, but if you put them near the top of the ramp, like if I'm here, I put one near the top of the ramp and I do this, that'll work. It'll connect because this isn't too far down the ramps, and you can see it from here safely. So that's one that I constantly do to make this room a nightmare for the opponents. Okay, so as they push you guys back here, this pillar obviously is used a lot for cover, and just making a flame field or a pyro prison around this pillar works great. You could try and do one around this whole thing. I don't usually bother. Again, you're in the heat of battle. I'm not trying to get the perfect right click over here, but you could. Most of the time, though, I'm just reaching for basically over here to here to here to here. And that's good enough for me. The opponents lose a lot of their space. And I actually had a quadra kill with my flame dash before, because the enemy team, all of 4 of them ran into this corner right here. And I put 2 more of these down and just rammed right into them and instantly killed 4 of them. So anyway, good spot. Just keep it simple. So 1 right here, and then connecting to something over here to here to here. So as long as these can see each other, you're good, just like this. Okay, so as you guys get pushed back behind this corner, of course the structure changes a little bit, but this corner is kind of here the whole time in a way. But I'm basically, the risky shot is going around the corner and aiming for this corner over here. I want to, again, you could do a triangle if you really don't have much time, but it's kind of like you're reaching over to here and then to here, and then just something like this even works great. It's a simple triangle. It's big. It's easy to do. Just when you turn this corner, that's your hardest shot, right? Because the whole enemy team might be right here. So just turn it, shoot, reach over here, and then just put something over here, and you're good to go. The streets are easy in this map. That's what I like. They're easy and obvious, and you can do them in the heat of combat, and it's usually something that you don't really mess up too much. And what's so fun about the map is just pushing people into these little nooks and crannies that are all over the place. You know, they're everywhere, and it makes it even easier for you to hit them with every other attack. So I love it. Okay, so as they push you back a little bit more, you know, let's say the payload's coming down the street here. This building will look different. There'll be a little more space. It'll be cleaner. But it's pretty obvious what you're trying to do. You're just trying to reach for that back corner, reach for over here, and then you can just do something like this. And you take away that whole space. This is also going to change. It makes this corner cleaner. It makes all this wide open. It's obvious what you want to do here. Of course, another big square. But you can use this space. Of course, it's risky. You got to stick your head out a bit. But I've used this space before where it's kind of like I go through here and I right-click over there, and then you come down here and right-click there to kind of throw them off. You don't want to come through here and go, oh, look it, and right-click. You're that much closer. I kind of use the first one here, and then you can go around here and just throw it like that. And then you do these and finish the square. So that's one way to do it. Kind of utilize this little pillar, I guess, part of the structure. And then, of course, to wrap up on defense, it's obvious. As you come out of the spawn, you're going to reach for the far sides, and you're going to make a nice big square here. Of course, you want to try and hug this as much as you can to really take away their space, and hug this as much as you can. Force them into this side room, or force them to be back around this corner. Human Torch is amazing on this map. And that pretty much wraps it up. For time's sake, I won't go all the way through the offensive side of things like I said at the beginning. Most of those are just the reverse of what we did on defense here. Some things, you know, a little bit different, but you can kind of figure them out on your own now that you've seen the map and basically seen my mentality about where I make the prisons. Hopefully this helps some of the new Human Torch players out there. I know that there's a lot of them now. Ever since he got buffed, he's kind of blown up in popularity. I do stream daily at twitch.tv/Silvis66. You can stop by anytime, and I really appreciate you watching the video. Take care, everybody.